One of the biggest weeks in gaming every single year. E3 is going on right now. And to top it all off, we've got MLG Anaheim this weekend. This is the Losers Bracket podcast, round 117. We are live with, as always, the normal co-hosts. I have LordJerith as well as Curt KeyHunt Carter from Check 6 Gaming with me. Gentlemen, this is a huge week for both all, casual gamers, hardcore gamers, the eSports scene. This is an exciting time, my friends. Curt, how are you doing this week, and how are you soaking everything in?
My heart aches. I ache. I'm busy, very, very busy. Busy week. I mean, not necessarily a busy week for, I guess, for me as far as E3 goes, but, of course, at the end of the week we have Anaheim coming up, which is huge. Check 6 has a total of 11 players going. Which I know to vVv doesn't seem that impressive with your number of 40, but for me, I'm over here dying. I don't know how in the world you guys put up with that many players.
To be fair, the ones that we're really responsible for is probably half that. You look at staff and
half of that is still 20, Jerry. So
yeah, but I mean, you gotta remember, we've been bringing multiple teams to events for 5 years, right? So
yeah,
this has been a long time since we've been doing this, and so it's one of those things that once you kind of get the logistics down, you sort of know, if somebody came to me and said, I want to hold an event, I'll say, listen, I'm going to tell you all kinds of things. I can give you a horror story of one night where we got a whole bunch of VV people together and we had this big dinner, and that we did not implement one stupid rule that would have helped a lot. And that is nobody pays by credit card, everybody pays by cash. Because when somebody's got to run 20 credit cards and you're waiting for everybody to get done so you can go somewhere else, it is a disaster. I mean, there's just little things you learn that you don't think about until you make those stupid mistakes. So if you ever need help, Curt, just ask.
I'm sure I will, I can assure you. But yeah, we have 11 players going, 2 staff going. They're going to be managing those 11 players, so they're going to have a great, great time, I'm sure. So yeah, be sure to come up to us at MLG. All that good stuff. So, but yeah, other than that, really, really busy week. Really, really busy week, but a good one. Jerry, how about you, buddy?
That's all I got to say was that silence. No, I mean, I think I'm really interested to take a look at the League of Legends scene in MLG. I'm really looking forward to look and watch and see and meet and talk to the League of Legends community because I really haven't ever spent a lot of time around them. I really look forward to watching fighting games. I've been playing a lot of Soul Calibur V here at the house, so I'll be able to watch that game really understanding it. I kind of really understand Mortal Kombat. I really understand now Soul Calibur. I'm working at it one game at a time, and for me, really understanding it's just understanding the depths of combos. There are many things that I don't get, and there's certainly many more things I can't even do. But at least now I'm going to look at fighting games with a much more sophisticated eye, it's just good for me to learn that. So I do look forward to those two things. You know what? I love our StarCraft players, and I'm almost the shit's so stacked that StarCraft, and I mean this 97, 96, 95. StarCraft is the least of the three that I'm interested in. The learner in me being nurtured. It doesn't mean I'm not going to pay attention to StarCraft, but
speaking of StarCraft, though, real quick, Jerry,
go ahead.
I know he's not attending Anaheim, but you guys announced a huge player pickup last week. I'm not sure if it's technically been announced yet, but I mean it should be considering he's a player. Should you introduce a little bit your new Korean guy?
Are you talking about Shuttle?
I am. I'm talking about Shuttle.
No. You know what happened with Shuttle? No, we didn't. We finally didn't pick up Shuttle because what happened was, and I don't mind talking about this, Shuttle wanted a 3-month contract. And Shuttle's sort of decision was, look, if I do really well, in 3 months you can pay me more. And I was like, well, hold on now. If I'm going to, that doesn't help me any, right? You might as well get somebody else to do this because then I get caught in a bidding war in 3 months. That makes no sense. Follow what I'm saying?
No, that completely
right?
makes sense.
And
only a player.
All
only
our
a player
contracts are for 1 year for obvious reasons, and sometimes we'll do 6 months. But 3 months, you know what? It's not worth it. To me. This is just me. We're busy. I'd love to have him. I'd love him and Siohan and everyone to sort of play together. But he just after we started talking to him, somebody else talked to him and said, "You're worth so much more than this." And it was like, look, in the long term, if he was worth so much of that, whoever was feeding this, whether he signed 3 months or 6 months, he would still be worth that at a 6 month period of time. I just know, contracts are best handled a certain way. So that's why we didn't announce it, because it didn't go through.
Okay, I apologize to put you on the spot there.
No, not at all. I don't mind talking about this. I don't mind talking about it at all.
But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Only a player would negotiate something like that, where it's like, well,
Well, what it was I knew that, like I said, normally do a year, and then he came back, and I was like, ah. And, again, this is probably because I'm, less interested in having to renegotiate every 3 months. I just can't do that. There's not enough time. If maybe all we did was StarCraft or one other thing, it'd be one thing. But there's just too much stress going on. I don't want to go through it again.
I mean, I know we got to move on to other things, but just to note here, guys, people that don't understand the severity of what players are asking for in this community right now, especially some of the I guess not even top players, but some of the players that either think they're good or they have even somewhat decent results. A player came to us. I'm not going to mention the name or anything like that, but a player came to us looking to join a team a few weeks ago. He's a very, very unknown player, but he did beat one of our players in a play-in tournament or something like that earlier in the week. And he came to us. He said his team has died. He was a European player, but he was originally from the U.S. He was going to move back to the U.S., but very, very unknown player. He was on a European organization, I mean to say. Very, very unknown player, hadn't done anything at all. He was asking for $1,000 a month. That was $1,000 a month, and he was very unknown. If I said who he was, you probably wouldn't know who I was talking about.
Well, here's the thing.
Amazing.
I'm bored. That's all I'm going to say. I say this a lot to people. I'm bored. People come to me like, I'm bored. I need something. What we need to do is we need more drama, intrigue, and suspense in our video games. I'm ready to push the boundary. Every time people are like, oh my God, esports is growing so fast. Nope, not fast enough. Nope, there's more we need to do better. We need to get more player stories out there. I need to know why every match is important. We need more news coverage. We need to understand who are potential breakout candidates. There's so much more we need. Because there is a lot going on that would be interesting. And if we were more transparent, this is what I had this conversation in a podcast today sort of after the show was done. If esports were more transparent, we wouldn't have this bullshit. You wouldn't have a kid going, can I get $1,000 to play StarCraft for you because I'm going to go big? No, you can't at all. I tell this to you, find someone who's really desperate to be in this space, who has their mom's credit card, and go ahead and run that shit up. But not me. Right? Because it just doesn't work. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we definitely have a credit card economy going. But anyway, Jason, I know we got to move on, so let's bring on the first guest or talk about E3 or whatever we're going to do.
Yeah, right before we bring on the first guest, we're going to bring on Juicebox Abel to talk a little bit about the... Oh, listen to that. He's actually here in the call already, and he's laughing in the background. He's ready.
I guess I'm not the first guest.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, Jason's new at this. Jason, the guy you bring on first is the first guest. Because you said, before we bring on the first guest, I have Juicebox Abel here.
Oh,
well, then who is he?
I think what he was going to say I have Juicebox Abel, but we're bringing him on later, kind of thing.
Right. That's
well,
what we
ruined
it for him. We ruined it.
By the way, because I am not watching the stream, people can't see Juicebox Abel's camera right now, can they?
Nope.
You need to put him on, because everyone needs to look at where he lives. I mean, when you look at his background, I think it's really special. I do.
Well, I mean, I could bring him in. We can talk a little bit about E3 with you, Juicebox. I mean, you said you didn't listen and watch most of it, but look at Juicebox. Look at him with his hat. Look at
Got
him.
his MLG shirt on. Wait a minute, Juicebox. Aren't you part of some organization?
Not specific. Oh, you know what? Yes, I am.
Uh-oh. Whoa. What?
So, hold on. Let me rip my hair out. That sound was my hair being ripped out. I want to know what the heck. You're a good thing you're not representing me. He's like nodding like, yep, I don't.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm just, I'm happy to support MLG. And, when it comes to, my sponsor, Dominion Method Gaming, I've done a lot of work for them recently when it comes to UFGT. And, granted, there's never really a time where I'm going to say, I'm just going to stop. But, I'm excited to show my support for MLG right now.
Awesome. Juicebox, I only asked that because I really only asked that because I was hoping you weren't with anyone anymore. That was it. I was looking at you as free talent. I was, wait a minute. Not free as in not pay for him, but like, if he's not obligated to anyone more, maybe we should make sure we talk to him after the show. Because Juicebox, if anything, you are very entertaining. So let's talk about, I know, Jason, you want to talk about E3, but
we can do that
I'd
after.
like to jump.
It's okay.
Can we? Yeah, I want to jump right into, I mean, a lot is about to happen in the fighting game community in a very short amount of time. We have MLG, we have CEO, we have EVO, all in a very short amount of time. So there's a lot going on in the fighting game community. To just picking those three alone, that's a lot of stuff. So why don't we start with MLG, and why don't we start with pretty obvious questions for those who don't know. So, Juicebox, are you going to be at MLG?
Yes. I will be the host. As far as commentating goes, I will be commentating all three games with Bibulus as commentary for Soul Calibur V, Tom Brady for Mortal Kombat 9, and Oscar, or The Answer, for King of Fighters 13.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to have basically you being the, hopefully, glue that holds the entire fighting game production together as they go through the various games. And I guess this will be the first time that it's in that format for MLG. I guess at the Spring Arena you had some of that, but it'll be the first time that you have all three of these casters and you working in that format. Is that right?
Yes. There was a similar attempt with like Fubar Duck at the what was the last event? The Winter Championships.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was also the first fighting game event in a long time for them, so there was a lot of uncertainty as far as the stream went, and that's partly why I was able to hop on for a game or two. But I think after Winter Championship and Spring Arena, they've gotten some practice at it, and they have it's a little bit more planned out what we're doing with the with fighting games at Anaheim.
What do you think is going to be your, preparation process? I mean, I think we talked a little bit about some critiques you had before, and I don't want to talk about the critiques. What I want to talk about is you got this amount of information, you're going to go into this opportunity, and you've got to probably, I imagine, thinking about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and what's going to be like. So why don't you share with everybody what your preparation process is for being on the main stage? Is it much more impromptu? Have you been doing a lot of thinking? Are there things you're talking to the other casters behind the scene? For somebody who wanted to, wonder what it's like to prepare for an MLG, what's your process like?
Well, I approach it similar to how I would approach, getting better at a fighting game itself, and I go back and I watch the videos. That's just a start. I mean, the idea is I'm relatively new to commentary. I've only done maybe 5 to 10 events if you count the grassroots fighting game events. So I consider my knowledge of the game adequate. I consider my ability to connect with the audience adequate. And I consider my ability to put those together, just okay, pretty average. So what I need to make sure is that tiny mistakes that I make, like too many too many likes, not enough variation in my speech, in my tones, up and down and up. I look for these things in the videos that I'm watching. Look for any moments where I'm not really sure what to say. And those moments come up a lot. So one of the things I'm doing to prepare is just writing down some things that I can remember to say when I have nothing to say. It's an old commentary trick. And it's not always depend on the other guy because he might not have anything to say either. Because I will be hosting. Things like how do I easily segue between, my color commentator and myself. Just making sure that I talk just a little bit less than them during the game, but a little bit more than them outside of the game. Things like that. I'm a very much technical and analytical person, and so the way I see it is each little piece of my presentation that I can improve on will improve the overall presentation, and I just look for the little mistakes that I made in the past things, and I just work my way up from there.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I don't want to ask all the questions, so Curt or Jason, I'm going to let you guys step in so that I'm not I know Curt wants to argue about something. I forget what, though.
I'll save that for a little later. We'll talk about E3. But, so my first question is, you mentioned your co-commentators, and I'm just curious who exactly they are, if you could tell people that don't know. I haven't even looked at the list.
I said it, but go ahead. Say it one more time.
Did he say all of them? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, first there's Brutus Bibulus, which is at Brutus Bibulus on Twitter. He's a figurehead in the Soul Calibur V scene, very strong player. Similar to myself, likes to commentate, but also a strong player as well. Knows a lot about the game. Knows a lot. Knows frame data of random moves. Knows the name of the moves and not just the notation for the moves. Strong with a lot of characters, but and has his finger on the scene. Knows what's going on around the tournaments and such. And Brutus is much, much more adept at Soul Calibur than I could hope to be at the moment. I'm still, skimming through that strategy guide, trying to figure stuff out. But I do understand the flow of the game at least. And little things like everything is negative on block and everything's positive on hit for the most part. Tom Brady is a rather prolific Mortal Kombat player. Tall, handsome, no homo. Has a lot of personality, understands a lot about Mortal Kombat, has played a lot of the older Mortal Kombat games, known for his Sub-Zero play, and is really articulate when it comes to talking about the game, but is also a big personality and rather opinionated as far as what he thinks about other players or what he thinks about particular matchups. Like, nah, that matchup is 7-3 and you're stupid. That's Tom Brady. And then there's Oscar, or the Answer, one of what I like to call the Pentagon, because there's 5 really, really strong Mexican players in SoCal. He's one of them. Has been playing KOF since who knows when the hell. Years and years ago. Ever since the series started, I suppose. I have not been following his recent tournament results as much as I probably should, but I know that he is as knowledgeable as the rest of the other players, is able to play with the other players, and the other players, whenever they travel anywhere across the country, they always win. So Oscar is very much a bastion of knowledge for King of Fighters and very much connects with the Hispanic community as far as King of Fighters is concerned. So that's just the brief background on those guys, and me, I'm just the crazy white dude who dances and everyone thinks is autistic.
That's always fun. That's always a fun description, right? No?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. But no, we had Tom Brady at the arena, and I really, really enjoyed him. I'm glad they're having him back because he wasn't at the Winter Championships, right?
He was, but I don't believe he placed top 8.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I mean, I meant I didn't think he was commentating on the Winter Championships, right?
I believe he popped in for a couple games. He popped in when Phil took a break, I believe.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, so I really, really enjoyed him at the arena anyway. He seemed to add something. I'm a little upset we're not seeing Gutex there. Gutex did a good job at the arena, I thought. I enjoyed sort of his hosting ability, at least.
I think Gutex is going to be there. I got to check my email chains. But,
gosh darn it, Juicebox!
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but either way, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
All right, I want to get to players. I want to know.
I was just gonna say, can I
want to know what
some players?
For those who are going to be watching. Let's go through this one at a time. Let's start with Mortal Kombat. Actually, let's not start with Mortal Kombat. Let's start with King of Fighters. You okay there, Jason?
I was just saying, you're stealing all my thunder. That was exactly where I was going after this. Can't believe you, Jerry.
My patience ran out. I was like, all right, enough of this. I want to talk about the players so we can make some predictions here. Let's talk about it. King of Fighters, Juicebox. If I am going to bring a friend and say these are the things you really need to pay attention to, King of Fighters, talk to us.
King of Fighters. Oh, boy. Here's what I would say are the major points. Number one, are we talking about? We're talking about the players, right? We're not talking about the game.
We are indeed talking about what player matchups are interesting.
Okay. Well, number one is Bala was the winner of Winter Championships, and Mr. KOF was second place. And there was, of course, no King of Fighters at Spring Arena. So that's the most recent results we have to go off of, with Triple V Romance, of course, getting third place. I know that Romance, whenever he enters the tournaments with everyone else, he always tends to place just a little lower. He's definitely on their level, but he just can't seem to get over that Bala hurdle. And so I wonder, what kind of work he's put in to overcome, in particular, the Billy matchup, because that always tends to give him problems. I'm really interested in seeing if he brings out any new characters or any new technology, because he's a friend of mine. He recently won UFGT 8, beat Justin Wong in straight sets in grand finals. And so, I really hope that, he has something new and awesome for us, because, I really want to see him improve and get past that second, third place hurdle that he always has whenever he comes across, Bala. And Bala and Mr. KoF is, an old matchup as old as time, but because of a new player who was not at Winter Championships, there will be some shakeups. There's a player coming from Mexico. His name is Luis Cha. And he is the top King of Fighters 13 player in Mexico, or so I hear. And so I'm really interested in seeing how far he gets in the bracket, because if a Dark East is to be believed, if everyone who talks about him is to be believed, he is on or beyond Bala's level. And so he could be like a major dark horse as far as, dominating this tournament. And, everyone else, I got 7th place at Winter Championships. So as far as, the players under them, what I will say when it comes to KoF is that the scene is very focused, in that there's only about, in my opinion, somewhere between 10 to 15 people in the country who actually know how to play it. And then there's a bunch of people like me, about 20, maybe up to 50, who are trying to get to that level but can't beat the people who are on that level. So, I really think that the top of the game is really where the focus is going to be until the community grows a bit. And what we've got is the Pentagon. Of course, Oscar's commentating, but Reynald, I think, is going to be there. We've got Bala. We've got, Triple V Romance. And then we've got Mr. KoF, so that's 4. Like, all 5 of them are going to be there with one in the commentating chair. So that'll make for lots of exciting matchups. And then, of course, we've got Luis Cha coming out of Mexico, seeing if he can shake up the dominance of, the SoCal KoF scene. And I think that those will be the major matchups to watch. That's what I would say as far as King of Fighters is concerned.
Yeah, and Bala is coming in at the number 1 seed since he won the last event, and I believe Reynald is coming in at the number 2 seed. The majority of the people that are going to be playing, though, are going to be unseeded, which is pretty interesting. Unless there is another question to ask about KoF, I think that that's going to be one of those games that we have to really wait and see, since most of the players are unseeded, to kind of wait and see if there is going to be some unknown player that we don't know that breaks up to that level, like you were saying. One game that is a little bit more, I guess you could say, focused, because we have some results to go off of from the arena that just happened, is Soul Calibur V. On the other hand, we had, Kiev and Hawkeye. We have vVvRTD, who will be at the event as well. Tons more players than what KoF currently has signed up. Who should we be watching out for? Are there any dark horses, you would say, in this event? And if you had to pick, who would you think is the one to take it all, if you were looking at what they had results-wise from the arena and even Winter Championship?
Wow. Well, that's a tough question. What it comes down to is, of course, we'll have Kyiv and KoFXIII coming from France. I don't imagine the top 8 is going to be shaken up much. It's going to be mostly the same players. But if you could just see the look on KoFXIII's face every match she loses, you would really feel sorry for her, because it's obvious, like, what I see in her is what I see in me when I lose, and that's that I can't believe I just freaking lost to that. It's a horrible feeling. I think that KoFXIII's been putting in a lot of work, just like Romance has in KoF. I'll be honest, as far as the Soul Calibur scene is concerned, I haven't been, keeping up to tabs, a whole lot. I do know that as far as this goes, Kyiv is still the strongest nightmare. Hawkeye is still a serious threat. There hasn't really been any shakeups in the scene. There aren't going to be any mystery players. I think it's just going to be a lot of exciting matchups from the same top players. I'm really interested in seeing if Kyiv is actually going to pick another character, because he did play Nightmare for most of everything. And I'm interested also in seeing if KoFXIII has been making any adjustments to get past the American players that she can't beat. Or should I say that she's been unable to beat.
Interesting. All right. Well, I guess we'll wait and see and find out if that is the case. The third game, if we were going to ask the same questions, and I feel like this is the one where a lot of people are watching because CDjr in Mortal Kombat, I should say vVvCDjr if I was going to be correct, has been really rocking the scene, with wins at the Winter Championship, an incredible matchup that went all the way down to the wire versus his
Detroit
Ballin in the arena finals. What an incredible... I mean, I still see the replay of that finals, right in my head, just flawless. What a great finish to a tournament. But he has 2 wins in a row, going for that third MLG win in a row. He said before at the end of the arena he was going to stick with just Jax. Will he keep his word there? That's a big story to watch out for. And is he going to do it? Is he going to do a three-peat? What are your thoughts on Mortal Kombat?
Well, I think that as our knowledge of Mortal Kombat grows, I don't think it's going to be possible to just keep playing Jax the whole time. And I only say this because Mortal Kombat has already shown itself to be a very matchup-based game, and there are lots of characters that are starting to understand that they can fully punish a whiffed dash punch, which even top players have trouble doing. We noticed Detroit Ballin actually doing it a couple times in the grand finals at Spring Arena. He did a full punish, stand 3, stand 2 lift on whiffed dash punches with Ermac. A lot of people haven't gotten that down yet. Jax has armor moves for every situation. If there is a chance of a character being well-rounded enough that you can play him in every match, it's probably Jax. But Mortal Kombat, kind of similar to KOF, is a game where the best tech is only known by a few people. And even if they post it on the forums, a lot of people on the forums don't really know how to use all of it, or they're not at the level where they can use it on competently. I would say that Cabal is always the major deciding factor. Like, it doesn't matter how good your character is. If you don't have a 4-6 matchup with Cabal, then you don't have a chance of winning it because a lot of characters are 3-7 or even worse. Jax is that character. I believe that CDjr is a good enough player that if there's any bumps in the road, he can overcome them. I do think that Triple V Rio is going to put in a bit more work. I've noticed he's been getting like 3rd and 4th at a lot of recent stuff when he used to win 1st at all the grassroots events. I'm not sure if this was before CDjr was traveling and such, but I think that they're both from Triple V, so team win is a team win. But I'm pretty sure he's hungry for that win, and I also know that my local friend Detroit Ballin, he does know a lot about the game, a lot more than he's given credit for, a lot more than he has the opportunity to show a lot of the times. Besides these last couple MLG tournaments, he hasn't been traveling much. So I think that if he watches the video from Spring Arena, he's going to practice those Ermac combos, and I think he is probably going to be the most likely person to beat CDjr in the winner's bracket, if anyone, because CDjr has been dominating most of the other top players.
Right, and if we were to go a little bit deeper into the Mortal Kombat bracket, you've got people like also around your area. Sonya player Morty Seinfeld, I believe, lives also out in Arizona right next to you guys. We've got other people to watch out for, such as Ryu and Kerbalicious, who is looking to come back and make another impressive showing, as he did back at the Winter Championship. On top of that, Perfect Legend is going to be coming back to try to, I guess you could say, make up for the losses that happened at the Winter Championship. With a couple of those names that I just threw out there, are those players that you would watch out for, or are they going to fall short of the top names such as the CDjrs, maybe the Maxters, people like that?
Well, Kerbalicious had a very respectable showing at Spring Arena, and he showed how well he knows Johnny Cage as a character. I think that for him to reach the top level, he's going to have to counterpick at some point, which he was not really doing very well. I think that he's probably one of the best Johnny Cage players, right next to Triple V Rio, and Johnny Cage is, a very strong character in this game, but he's not as well-rounded as Jax is. Certain characters just have too easy of a time running away from him. I think that Kerbalicious, when he knows a couple more characters, is going to be the next big player to watch. And when it comes to Perfect Legend, I mean, all the stuff with Triforce and bounties aside, I really hope that he can reclaim, some of his former glory. I mean, he won Mortal Kombat 9 at EVO, which is great, but at the same time, it was relatively early in the game's lifespan. There's lots of stuff we figured out since then, and I really hope that Perfect Legend has been stepping it up, because I'm pretty sure in the back of his head, he's like, I can still be good at this game, if I put in, all the effort and I do what I can, but he hasn't been showing very strongly at recent events, and so, I really hope the best for him, because what I hate is for someone to be good and then slowly drop off, and, I really hate to see that, so I really hope Perfect Legend comes back real strong.
Gotcha. Kurt, you were about to say something before, and I rudely interrupted you because I'm a horrible person. What was it that you were going to say, buddy?
Actually, I think I interrupted you, but I appreciate you taking the blame there. So that's
I was
always
taking the
that's
blame.
always...
I was just kind of rubbing. It's fine. It's good. You're good.
Yeah, sicking your fans on me or something.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, do you like you were talking about Perfect Legend? You said you hope he was getting better. I'm just curious about a few things because. Of course, we had the Perfect Legend drama a few weeks back, with the guy who was like, MLG's taking advantage of Perfect Legend, and he they want him to ruin his something or another, his candor or his fame by going to MLG and stuff. Do you think he's gotten any better? Have you seen him play at all? I mean, I know that he does stream every once in a while. I think he does like some YouTube stuff because he's a fairly confident guy. Do you think he's actually been putting like all his eggs in his Mortal Kombat basket, so to say?
Well, I haven't been seeing him play any other games. So unless he's going to surprise us and be kick-ass at King of Fighters 13, I mean, I don't think that's really going to happen. But, as far as Perfect is concerned, I mean, in my honest opinion, I don't know him personally, but, he won EVO and then he sort of dropped off. And so, in my opinion, it's up to him to prove to everyone else now that was not just him playing the best character at the current time with the best tech at the current time. That's a perfectly legitimate tournament win. You play the best as it is currently defined. There's always a metagame, and Kung Lao and dive kicks was so damn good at EVO. And really, really hard for a lot of people to get around. People weren't punishing spins. People...
Uh-oh, I think that I might have just lost your stream just a little bit there for a second there, Juicebox.
Okay, you hear me?
I do now. Sorry about that, but if you could pick up right where you were. Sorry about that.
But, the game always changes, and for a player to remain a top player, the player has to change, and so, I really hope that, you could. I'm just trying to draw like an analogy with me. Like, even though Abel went through balance changes, I went through what I needed to make sure that my character was still a good character. And if Abel wasn't a good character, I wasn't going to play him, which is why I picked up Jury in Super Street Fighter IV, because there were some matchups that I didn't need help with that I did need help with. And so I have not seen. I might be speaking, out of turn here, but I have not seen that level of adaptation out of Perfect Legend as of yet. He places well, but there's a lot of people who place well all the time in West Coast and East Coast tournaments who aren't really that good. It's not that hard to get first place at a local. It's not that hard to get first place at a bi-weekly or even a monthly, but it's hard to get first place at MLG, and that's really the only result that I care about and that I hope Perfect Legend cares about. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely. As a side note, Juicebox, you're not. This is more towards Jerry and Jason, but do you also see who's playing in Mortal Kombat? Do you see Jedi Rob up there? Yes. our old friend from the IPL is playing, as well as Josh Suth, who's from the IPL as well. So I just had to say that. I think that's pretty great, pretty funny.
I think it is in good spirit.
That'd be pretty darn cool to see someone from the IPL top brass come in and be like, you know what, I'm going to win MLG.
Jedi Rob.
What now?
Did anybody see Jedi Rob today? He was on the Dead or Alive 5 stream at E3, where the IPL's doing the Dead or Alive 5 stream, and he's got like this bright red blazer on.
Oh yeah.
Did anybody see it?
He's had that thing for like the last 2 years. He wears that to all his events.
He's something else.
Looking all classy and snazzy.
He needs to get on main stage. He needs to have like an IPL embroidery on the blazer. Now that would be sick, with a big Brazzers logo on the. No, I'm joking.
Oh god!
IPL Brazzers, Rob.
IPL Brazzers. Watch out.
There was a great side story when Jedi Rob, I think it was like the first time he came on the show here, where he was talking about his Persian tailor that did all his suits for him in Arizona, and he was going to try to get a tailor suit sponsorship for his next big tournament so that all the gamers could learn to dress a little nicer. So, I don't know. I'm looking
Where's
forward
the
to
hand
seeing how it goes.
sanitizer sponsor?
Right. Jeez.
Where's Germex with the don't want to touch someone else's controller? Squirt, squirt. Where's that?
That's better than the squirt if it
Hold
was a
on.
Brazzers sponsorship. Jesus.
Making a proposal now. Juicebox, man.
I mean, maybe it's a fighting game thing, because there's always like, hey, can I borrow your stick? No, bring your own damn stick. Didn't you buy a plane ticket? Damn it. Anyway,
God.
I'm
that's
telling you, man, Juicebox with those creative ideas, Jerry. We're gonna have to hit up Germex. I'm telling you. But
I'm just glad that he feels the same kind of compassion for other people that I do. That's what I really like about that story.
Juicebox, I have another sort of question that I guess is a little bit more, philosophical about the whole event. And it's the fact that, like, I think it's a decent turnout, as far as the people that have, for Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. But it's not, I guess, the best turnout for King of Fighters, especially.
Oh God! Don't remind me.
Do you think we'll have a lot of people that are showing up at the door? Because I know that's a big fighting game thing. Or are we just kind of, is that an excuse now?
I pray that that's what happens. I mean, there's a couple reasons. I mean, number one, as far as the fighting games that are on the MLG circuit, King of Fighters 13 is the game that is closest to my heart. It's the game that I'm best at. It's the game that I love the most and that I like to promote. If based on attendance, King of Fighters isn't back for the next MLG, that really sucks. Sucks for me. Not that I'm not going to enjoy, helping with Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, other great games that I love and enjoy, but King of Fighters is my favorite. And when it comes to the attendance, the number one complaint, deja vu, is that it's too close to another tournament, namely EVO. EVO is 3 weeks from next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. 3 weeks from this coming weekend, July 4th weekend, or is that 4 weeks? And so, some players are saying, well, I don't want to fly out to Cali so that I can, get bodied or whatever. I would rather go to EVO and get lots of casuals, which, okay, that's fine. But then there's the other side of the coin where the most, if not the majority, well, yeah, it's exactly the same word, they're synonyms, the majority of the King of Fighters community resides within California, some of the best players. And so why are we having an attendance issue when we've got arcades in NorCal and arcades in SoCal that are keeping King of Fighters 13 strong? And I wish I could tell you, if you just get a casual glance through of Twitter, hashtag King of Fighters 13, or people who are, prominent members of the community, you get a lot of things like, well, I'm too poor, I can't make it, or I still disagree with MLG's philosophy, or I'd rather go to EVO, stuff like that. And it's all stuff where I'm just like, just go to the damn tournament, stop judging, just go.
Right.
But yeah, that's me.
Well, I mean, we'll see because, as Curt was just saying before, a lot of fighting game players do kind of wait to the door, just that old culture of, hey, I got to get my pass. Even, believe it or not, today, a friend of mine who actually plays Mortal Kombat, who lives in Arizona, said to me, he's like, I don't think I'm going to go because I didn't buy. Oh, wait, I can buy it at the door. And he's going to still come out to LA and go compete, even though he doesn't have his pass yet. So who knows? Yet again, it's some of those things where we kind of have to wait and see.
Isn't it incredibly close to Jabali's tournament too? Isn't that in June, like early June or mid June, like really close?
CEO is weekend after next, weekend after MLG in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're having King of Fighters too, right?
They are. CEO added $500 to the pot, I believe, out of his own pocket, and I believe Bala said he's going to be at CEO. So that's two quick flights for him. But I technically would have gone to CEO if I could have gotten the time off of work, but I can't. And so I will be enjoying that tournament on the stream, much to my chagrin, because that's another tournament that I could have gone to increase my King of Fighters expertise, and my abilities.
I'd be interested. I want to know and I don't think CEO has released sort of the player list kind of thing of people that have pre-registered. I could be wrong, but I don't see it anywhere. I was looking for it. But I'd be interested to know afterwards, like how many people attended King of Fighters for that, and how many people attended MLG, kind of thing. Just because I'm just kind of curious of how that dynamic is playing out. Because in the end, like I think, the people that are going to win this fight are whoever's offering the most money. I mean, when it all comes down to it, who's ever got the most money, that's I think what people are going to attend the most. But I could, the quote-unquote fighting game community could prove me wrong, and, some of the smaller tournaments could, or I guess not smaller tournaments, that's disrespectful to CEO, but some of the people that are have less money or they're giving out might surprise us, and there could be a bigger turnout. So,
yeah, I think they're going to prove you wrong. Quite honestly, what it is, the number one thing that comes up whenever a major rolls around, just go to any social media, friend a bunch of people in the FGC. Every single time there's a major, it's like, I'm too poor and I can't make it. Cry me a frickin' river, guys.
Yeah.
I get annoyed by that. I mean, I'm not the richest guy, I'm not the poorest guy, and to be fair, I am sponsored, by a corporate entity, Mad Cats. And so, maybe I'm the wrong guy to be saying this, but, I have a passion for the scene. And when I get home from work, I play fighting games and I cover fighting games. And then I go to bed and then I go back to work and then I do more fighting game stuff because I love it. And if a tournament rolls around and I have the means to go to it, I'm going to go to it. And if I don't have the means and it's a month away, I'm going to save to go to it is what I'm going to do because I give a crap. And whenever I hear poverty excuses like that, it just makes me feel as though, most of the scene is too casual, but this is the same scene that has the majority of the input when it comes to stuff like tournament organization and why the MLG stream wasn't adequate or why it was incorrect. And it just really bothers me that the same group of people has the majority of the voice,
I'm on a very, very similar rant, Juicebox. I understand completely. I'm from quote unquote ye older days where I'm gonna go on a rant here in the sense of like, Counter-Strike players back in the day, if they couldn't attend an event, they were broke as hell. They piled up in a fucking like Toyota Tercel where they fit like 7 people in the car, and they slept on the boot camp of the CPL floor. Like that's what they did, and that's what players still do to this day for DreamHack Land. So I mean. To me, there's no excuse if you really have the passion for it. So, yeah. Anyway, over to you, Jason.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Jerry, one of your old sayings that I've always remembered was, if you don't have a sponsor and you need a way to get it, the best sponsor to have is JOB. Yeah,
Mr. JOB is real good a sponsor, real good. He's once you get him, you keep him. He's real steady. Mm-hmm. I think also though that again, it's really, really more and more difficult, I think, to herd cats. And I feel like the best thing to do is to just do what you're doing, and those who come along for the ride get it. And let's work with what we do. I was on a podcast earlier today, and I really mean this. I think we do this all wrong. I think we care too much about what the esports community says and not enough about what people who aren't in the scene think. Like, our growth isn't going to come from having fighting fans watch the game. They're either going to watch or they're not. Our job is to get the little old lady in Pasadena to pay attention to esports. Our job is to get people who right now are watching television, are watching movies, are reading books, are just playing video games. We need to figure out how to get those people to watch video games. And all this other stuff, like all this crap and politics and who's doing who for what, if we don't get eyeballs on streams, this game's over. So no matter what we do, we have to get people to watch streams. And that's what this game is all about, right? Not this podcast. This is not esports. I'm talking about matches. So it really doesn't even matter that, somebody in the fighting game community says, I expect this. To me, what matters is we need to figure out what these people are watching, and then we need to relate to them so we can pull them into esports. That's really, right? That's really what we need to do. And I think that's what makes what Twitch TV doing is so important, right? That's why I do what I do. Like, every time somebody comes to me and says, somebody talks to you about Reddit, fucking do I care? Right? What the esports community... Do I care what the fighting game community... Somebody was just some assholes in chat now. Rio and fucking CDjr have one foot out the door. They're going to leave you. Then fucking leave. I don't want them if they don't want to be here. Like, it's going to hurt us. Right? Like, there's some conspiracy. Ha ha ha, we stole them from you. Pfft, Just have them come ask me. I'll release them from their contract. They don't even have to fucking play a game. You don't want to be here, I'll let you go. None of that matters. I don't need them. I need the person right now who's watching television, but they're not watching Twitch TV. I need the person who's got a DVD or a Blu-ray and they're watching with friends. I need to get them to watch Twitch TV. I need to get their eyes on esports. If I don't do that, well, then there is no esports. Just a bunch of nerds running around wanting to be cool. It's out of business.
Ubisoft.
Oh, he's starting in. He started it for me.
Full force. Let's go.
yeah.
Esports my balls.
So.
Well, wait. You know what? Can I make another point too?
No.
You can't be esports without a spectator mode. I just want to start that right there. Go ahead. That's all I'm going to say. Don't say esports and then no spectator mode. That's just my rule. Go ahead.
I mean, ShootMania, I'm pretty sure, has a spectator mode, right? Like, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the thing with ShootMania, but anyway, but Juicebox, we're talking about the quote unquote the esports, and we haven't brought it up lately. I just have a quick question, and then I want to go on to the Ubisoft thing real quick. But we haven't really talked lately about the fighting game community versus esports debate, and that's because it's kind of died down lately. And I'm just kind of curious, from someone that's on the inside, quote unquote, with the fighting game community, what are we making any headway? Or is it just getting worse, man?
Oh, man.
Because to me, it seems like it's just getting worse. Like, people now, like, Ultra David, and I don't mean to call him specifically out, but I saw a tweet from him the other day. It was just very little pompous when it comes to the esports stuff. And, and now it's fighting game community is like, it's using esports as like this bad term that's like, esports and shit like that. And they've been doing that for a while, but is it getting worse? Is it just getting worse, man?
It's really going to depend on who you ask. I mean, what it comes down to is there's a lot of people like me, Jedi Rob, and Jerith who say, we don't need them. The problem is just that they seem to be every single stream monster at this current moment in time.
But you think what you just said, though. If they're in the stream, fuck them. Good. I'm glad they're here.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, here's the thing, right? Change is hard. And I know that I know that the fighting game community drank its own Kool-Aid and it's down to earth and it's all the shit I've heard. But there is a place that this car called esports is being driven, and it's going toward being a professional endeavor. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not supposed to be me and a bunch of friends just hang out. There's a professional element. We want to provide competitive matches to entertain the general public. Right? And I know that's different than going to Uncle Woody's fighting game event down somewhere in Florida or Texas. I get the difference. I'm sure you do as well. Mm-hmm. And I can understand how Uncle Woody gets all of his friends riled up because their culture is going to be destroyed. No one's asking them to stop doing that. Right? And yeah, a few Uncle Woodies have to go away because their fighting game tournament's too close to an MLG event. But you know what? They can stay home and watch it. And with their constructive criticism, we can make the stream better for them. Yeah. That's kind of how it works. But it seems like there seems to be this like same drama over and over again. And to be honest, for me, the reason I don't care is because they're not giving me the chance to do what they need. They're creating the impossible situation. Right? I don't tell MLG, you suck. I tell MLG, please get chairs. When they get chairs, they're happy. I've told them how to make me happy. They make an effort to make me happy. We build a relationship and a partnership. That could go on everywhere, but when it doesn't, what are you going to do with someone who absolutely refuses to negotiate? Okay. If you're not going to be constructive, what can you do? They're not relevant. They're making themselves not relevant. We're not doing it to them.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, I just think that if the right people said the right things, this could be over in a day. Maybe somebody with the last name Cannon. Maybe somebody...
that was smooth. That was smooth.
I mean, I can't speak to that. I'm not where the money is in the fighting game community. I'm just a player who knows some stuff, who MLG happens to like at the right place at the right time, and I'm enjoying the hell out of myself. But as far as this goes, I really hope that the fighting game community just, if MLG has to continue without the, screw what I was about to say. I'm reminded of what we talked about last time. You don't have to ask the Warcraft 1 community if you want to throw a Warcraft 3 tournament or a Starcraft tournament or whatever else. The fighting game community is a misnomer. There's the Soul Calibur community, there's the King of Fighters community, there's a Mortal Kombat community, there's a bunch of communities for a bunch of different games, and the whole fighting game community thing, amorphous blob that we keep talking about doesn't really exist, and we need to move past that. What it is
right.
just because of the niche appeal of fighting games, which has been slightly gaining some ground. There's new games coming out, etc. Fighting game tournaments are not used to not running every game. They're not used to not having everyone in the same place. And, to start splitting them up and to throw separate events for separate games and stuff like that, that's a change they're still getting very slow to do. And you add, a corporate entity, or someone, that wants to start introducing more and more sponsorships into it, like MLG. And, of course they had an adverse reaction to it, but it's a natural progression.
And I'm really glad to hear you say that, because I mean, obviously, I agree with it. As you said, we did talk about it last time. We really need to separate those communities, but I think there's something about qualified criticism as well. So let's say someone's building a house, and you don't know anything about building a house, and you run up to the house, and you see this guy sawing a certain way, and you run up to him, and you're like, "The way you fucking saw is bullshit," right? That's bullshit. The dude sawing looks at you kind of strangely, and then is like, "What?" And then just keeps sawing. And then you run off and you go to every forum you can, like, "This song is fucking bullshit. This song is fucking bullshit." Well, this is how I feel about most people when they comment about the business of esports. They come running up and they're like, "That's fucking bullshit," right? And it's so I look at them sort of like, what the fuck do you know about business? Like, really? You know nothing. You've never been doing, you're a kid. And I don't treat people like children. You know this, obviously. Most of the guests come here. But when we have these kind of conversations, if we're going to be honest, at the core, when it comes right down to it at the very end, we're facing ignorance. They don't know what they don't know. And what you said earlier, there are people. There are people who have their ear. And because they're not looking at the big picture, but just their piece of the pie, they won't step up to the plate and do things that would signal, hey, give this a chance. A lot of people could benefit. We're going to grow an industry. We could all be a part of it. We can move this somewhere bigger. But instead, they play to people's fears. They pander. And when I see that kind of behavior, it becomes political. It is not business anymore. It's not looking for the win-win where everybody can benefit and grow. It's looking for the consolation of ego and power. Those are two very different things. And when someone's playing the wrong game, if you want to be powerful in the esports community, you can take that power, have it all. I am glad for you. You are, whoever right now people believe are the most powerful person in esports, I don't know who that is, I applaud them. Yay. That's a title, right? But I will guarantee you that the doctor down the street from me is way more powerful than whoever the most powerful person is in esports. So power to me should not be the thing. Ego, image, fame, those are peanuts when we're looking at esports. We should be growing this so that one day maybe power will matter, right? Maybe the commissioner of whatever major gaming league we have is invited to the White House, or the president of the United States calls the winning team and congratulates them. Then we're somewhere. But right now, sorry. And all these people who are not interested in taking that train called esports, to getting more viewers, to building it, if they don't get it, they don't want to get it, why fight them? Why even, be like, someone's going to engage them and try. And as long as, and again, I'm not saying we need to crucify them or punish them or do anything negative to them, but do you know how much wasted energy gets spent if you keep spinning your wheels on the same people who just, no matter what, refuse to play? And so that's why I kind of take that attitude, that it's not that they don't matter because I don't want them to matter. They don't matter because they're taking themselves out of the equation. They just won't give us an opportunity to create a win-win situation where everybody has something to benefit. They just don't want to do that. I'm sorry to get that, but I had to say that. It had to be said.
No problem. I work customer service. If you don't want me to help you, I can't help you, sir. Click.
Exactly, right?
Truer words have never been spoken.
Guys, I was going to say, we have to kind of move on just time-wise, because we still have 2 entire guests to bring on. We still have to talk League of Legends. We still have to talk StarCraft. Let's do a little bit of E3 discussion, and then...
Make it quick.
Let's save it. Let's get our guests through.
We need Juicebox on for E3. So
that's right. For you to set up. That's right. I withdraw. It's all yours, Curt.
Let's go ahead and run through E3 because we are going to talk about. At least I have a few things to mention. Jason, I'm not sure if you have a few things to mention or not.
Sure.
But just a few interesting notes of topic. I want to try to do these very, very quick. Smite, which is a game by Hi-Rez, who also makes Tribes Ascend, is going to be a new free-to-play MOBA game that looked incredibly interesting. I want everyone to go look it up. The reason it looked interesting is because of the fact that it is a third-person view that is directly overhead. It's like a Gears of War third-person view. It's not over-the-map view like a current MOBA title. It just looked incredibly interesting. I think it's still got a hard sell because in the end, all sort of first-person views, or I guess what would be called third-person views in that aspect, are very a hard sell because it's just a little bit, of course, harder to get all the information in there. But it was a really, really interesting game. It's going to be free to play. It's by a known developer that does support eSports. They're doing this with Tribes Ascend, putting money into NESL's hands, as well as a bunch of other stuff like bringing entire players out to E3 to do their finals for Tribes Ascend. Really, really amazing stuff. Go check that out. And that was on the Twitch stream with DJ Wheat, so that's always awesome. Another thing that I just really found interesting that I just had to mention was the Wii U stuff. I never thought I'd be one to talk about something something made by Nintendo, to be completely honest, because their consoles to me have just been awful lately, from our particular standpoint at least. But the Wii U looked incredibly interesting. They're having Ninja Gaiden 3 on there, Assassin's Creed, Zombie U. These are some of like the main titles on their console, rather than Mario Party 18,000 or Mario Sunshine Village Crap Boy or something. It's like a zombie survival game, and Assassin's Creed, and Ninja Gaiden 3. Really, really interesting stuff.
My body is ready.
And the games just look really, really cool. I got to be honest. The way that they have implemented that whole new motion sensor and the touchscreen, I just applauded it. I really, really applauded their presentation. I thought it went over really, really well. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that.
But you know what, Curt? I have to say one thing real quick, and this is a completely different announcement from E3. I feel like Nintendo with the gamepad kind of got one-upped by Microsoft with the SmartGlass. Did you get the chance to catch that announcement?
All I heard that Microsoft was horrible. I heard Microsoft was the worst presentation of like the day.
Then you missed something that's really big, because if you guys haven't seen this yet, I think this, in my opinion, was the biggest announcement of E3. And I'm open to hearing if other people will disagree with me, but Microsoft announced a new technology called SmartGlass. And this is going to be really big, because what SmartGlass does is it allows you to use any sort of Windows 8 tablet, Android-based device, so mobile phone or tablet, or iOS device, so that means iPads or iPhones, in conjunction with the Xbox. And that's absolutely huge. So, for example, they showed it in use. They showed things like a movie being able to be streamed off your tablet, and then you hit one button and it would stream to your television instantly from your Xbox. Or they showed things like in Madden 13, they have their tablet and they're looking at it and they're actually drawing new plays on the fly for their team, and their team would then play with that play in the actual game on the Xbox. And that could be implemented really neat. So instead of something like the Wii U where you have just one gamepad that you have to use in conjunction, this allows you to use any device that you already have in your home, mobile phone or tablet, with the Xbox as a controller, pretty much. That's absolutely groundbreaking in my mind, and I think that's been the announcement of E3, but for some reason a lot of people are passing that over. I don't know.
I totally disagree. I just got to come out here and I got to say this. It's going to bother me. I promise you, Jason, everyone, I do these experiments sometime where I have a friend of mine tweet some bullshit, and then I watch how many other people pretend they watch the same bullshit. So I have a friend of mine who like tweets random shit of opinions that are obviously not true. And then I watch to see how many people, and he's in esports, so you know, and we watch to see how many people actually follow. I honestly believe that once somebody said, oh, Microsoft isn't any good, all these other people said Microsoft isn't any good. When in reality, just the word SmartGlass should make someone sort of pause for a moment and go, wow, that sounds like it's got a lot of interesting stuff.
Yep.
And then Microsoft said something really cool, right? And that was, so you've got your SmartGlass enabled device, right? You get some game going, right? And when it doesn't have like tailored information to display, right, the device goes into listening mode, essentially awaiting the game to give it the next set of instructions via Wi-Fi.
That's so
Why don't you think about what technology that opens as far as the interaction between your controller and a game, right? That means that all of a sudden the actual game can impact your controller. I want you to think about that a minute, right? We started with,
Vibration.
Yes, thank you so much. I was just going to say, you thought vibration, yeah, that's really pretty useful. But you can see the evolution of technology, right? So you can, you can be in a situation, right, where while you're playing the game, it shows you a map, right? And once you go in someplace, all of a sudden it switches again. When you encounter a boss, the display and everything switches again, right? You get boss stats, right? So your controller, your Windows sort of SmartGlass device now acts as a sort of heads-up display to give you additional information. That changes things, right? And it's just like one of those moments where you're like, huh.
Yep.
Right? Now, we talk about this in cars. We said it would be great to have heads-up display in, stealth fighters and bombers and all this technology. And now here we are saying, hey, imagine if, you're playing a game, and as you look down at your controller, it's giving you extra information, and that information is synced and being fed not just by you, but also by the game's responses to what you're doing there. I just think it is big news. And everybody who says, oh, E3 was horrible, it was yawn, I will agree the games were not that exciting, but you should not have missed this. And I think you're right to bring it up.
Yeah, SmartGlass, one more thing about that. One more quick thing, Curt. I just think the immersion level with that is going to be so much greater. Imagine a scene in a game where you're receiving, like, say, an email or a letter, and then it actually comes to your phone or your tablet, and you have to pick it up to read it. I mean, it might be a little ways off where things like that are a requirement, because not everyone, of course, has a smartphone or a tablet yet. But just the immersion level of you as the character having to pick something up to read it, I think that's going to be such a really cool advancement in technology. To me, it was the announcement of E3. But, Curt, continue.
Yeah, no, I'm actually sad I missed the SmartGlass.
By the way, though, if I can point out, hold on.
Now,
I have to say
Curt
this.
Can't talk. I like this.
No, this is why I'm saying this. E3 is going to drown out the rest of our guests. I'm just telling you that right now. If we keep going on E3, there's a lot of stuff we could go through. Sony, we could go through.
Ubisoft, eSports.
We've only got two more things. We just got, like I said, but
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Go.
Okay, well then fuck the first thing. Let's go straight to Ubisoft. Let's talk about ShootMania.
Woo!
Which is what Juicebox Abel was so amazing to chime in about on his Twitter, and that's what I want to bitch at him about a little bit. But basically what happened with ShootMania is a game through Ubisoft where they basically... I would say the press conference itself, as far as not the press conference, but the time slot for it was a little gimmicky, in the sense of they did go through the whole thing where this is an esports title, this is esports genre, quote unquote. That's what they said. But ShootMania is a game that they really are trying to 100% get on the quote unquote esports bandwagon. They are. It's a game that's I'm not sure if anyone has saw it, but it's a 3v3 game. That is a lot like, I guess it's got a Quake influence. Basically, it's got one defending team where one player, where three players will try to defend against one player who's trying to capture a point. But it's a very, very interesting game. They held basically on an online tournament for a bunch of top teams that were playing the game, and they were going to fly out the top 2 teams to do the LAN finals at E3. And they did this thing where it was a quick sort of 3 versus 3 with really, really amazing players. 3 female Counter-Strike players. There's not 3 female gimmicky Counter-Strike players. They're really, really good Counter-Strike players. Allie, as well as 2 other players from Mouse Sports girls team who are all they've won multiple titles in Counter-Strike for ESWC. Really, really amazing players versus Spawn, who's a very, very famous Counter-Strike player, as well as Swifty and Sturmy, who Swifty's was a World of Warcraft player, and Sturmy is a very popular Quake player. Anyway, they basically just did a best of 3 game on the stream. And a lot of people gave him shit for it, including Juicebox Abel here, and I want to get your opinion about it, dude. So share your opinion.
Okay. Well, they came out and said, we're going to make a game for the esports genre. And I'm like, what the hell is that? How do you make a game esports? I can understand making a game deep, making it balanced, supporting the community with post-release patches. I can understand moderating forums. I can understand collecting data on all that. I can understand ShootMania 2 and stuff like that. But you can't just make a game esports. It's not esports until it's big. You know why Starcraft II was esports before it was released? Because Starcraft 1 was freaking huge. Because it's the national sport of freaking Korea. You can't just make a game esports. They can't just release Street Fighter V and say, this game is going to be just as good as Street Fighter 4. No, it won't. I'm cross-checking. I'm just looking at it like, how do you know it's going to be a hit? And why would you just, it just seems disingenuous to me. We're just going to make this game for esports because we think it's a cash grab. That's what it sounds like to me.
You might think it's disingenuous, but in the end, I think that's all what we hope is the future. I mean, I'm hoping that more developers are like, hey, I'm going to make this title as an esports title. This is going to be an esports. We're putting money into it. We're making sure that the game has esports features that are very, very competitive. To me, this is the future that we all hope we have. League of Legends is the perfect example of that. I mean, League of Legends is pushing this esports thing you think they're doing it just, for the hell of it? No, they're doing it because they think it benefits them. So you might say it's gimmicky, but a company has to make money, and I think this is, if a company looks at esports and goes, hey, this could help us make money, that fucking helps us.
Yeah.
It really helps.
I will agree with you there. I guess I feel as though if they said, here's a cool, awesome game that you should play because it's good, I would feel a bit better about it. But that's just me coming from a community where the game has to earn its stars before anybody plays it in the first place. Well, competitively. I mean, there's always the guy who's really, really good at Art of Fighting 2 or whatever else. But, what matters is the games that are popular and deep and competitive and, that have big scenes for them. And, I don't see ShootMania coming out of the gate with everything it needs to be supported by a major organization.
To be fair, though, just one last thing before we move on. If they didn't do that, we wouldn't be talking about it. So it worked to get some sort of marketing towards
Kudos
the title.
to Ubisoft. I'd rather buy Rayman Legends. Thank you very much.
Well, number one, I think, yeah. I mean, anyway, but yeah, let's move on. But
yeah,
I do think ShootMania, for those that haven't seen it, it looks very interesting. If you like FPS games, it's going to be cool in the end because they're going to put money into it. It's like Jerry said, we need people to put fucking money into it, and that's exactly what this dev is doing. So,
by the way, I didn't badmouth the game at all. Go play ShootMania. It looks like fun. I'm just talking about Ubisoft. ShootMania is probably a good game. Just go play it.
Juice, I really wish you the best of luck this weekend. I'll try to catch up with you while we're out there in Anaheim. Kick some ass, my friend. I'm glad we got you back on the show. It was a long time coming, and we'll definitely need to get you back in the future. Kick some ass in the commentary booth, and we shall talk to you soon. Any shout-outs before you head out?
Shout-outs to my dog, Jake. No, actually, no.
Shout out to...
No, I think that was all who really needed a shout out. Who is there day in and day out? Jake.
He's my pal. We go on
adventures
adventures together. All right. You guys have fun. I'll see you all at Anaheim.
Shout out to the Mini Method Gaming too, and Mad Cats.
Okay.
Juicebox,
Fine, bring them into it.
I'm
My
going
sponsor,
to teach you to do that shit.
DemoniMintGaming.com. They have a Twitter as well, and of course Mad Cats. I have a box with a hat on it in the back that has their logo on it.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have you shouting that shit out everywhere you go. Before telling you.
I'm personally more interested in the Rock Band guitar behind him, but that's just me in the corner. You can see it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
right there.
just you. You're right, just you.
Just saying. I'm just pointing it out. Juice, thank you so much for coming on tonight, buddy. Have a good one. We'll see you out in Anaheim.
See you guys.
Take care. All right. Wow. That was awesome. Really cool. 3 games down, 2 to go. I want to bring vVvRuFF in next for our next guest. We can talk a little bit of Starcraft II. We'll wrap the show up a little bit later on with Fourth Oracle and talk some League of Legends. RuFF actually is going to be heading out soon because him and actually his girlfriend, who he is currently with, staying with at the moment, they are actually leaving to fly out to Anaheim tomorrow. So he's going to need to get out of here soon. So we're going to bring him in for a quick little bit. That way we can talk with him. And, we can go from there. Does that sound good to you guys? Yes.
You're the producer. Whatever happens, we blame you.
Aw, yay. I like it. All right, so I'm going to add RuFF to the call so we can get this all started with him. And let's talk some StarCraft II. But yeah, big shout out to Juicebox for coming onto the show. And, oh my gosh, look.
Hey, what's going on?
There's vVvRuFF. Jesse. My friend,
no feedback, is there?
How in the world have you been, sir?
Pretty good. Very busy lately.
You have been very busy lately, jet-setting around the country, haven't you?
Yes.
So tell everyone where you started and where you ended up, and I think we all know where you're going soon, but let's talk about your travels.
Okay, travels. Well, I came from North Carolina. I flew to Portland, Oregon, pretty much, to visit my girlfriend. And on my way over here, I didn't have a computer for a little while. So I was thinking, I'm going to be without a computer for a while. I'm still going to have to do a lot of my stuff for hotkid.com anyways, for videos. I might as well go ahead and get a computer over here. And that's exactly what I did. So I got myself a new computer, and it's been going really well, actually. I really love the computer. I've been playing StarCraft on it. And everything is just so smooth, no lag, especially my macro game. I'm just loving it. Okay. So after when we leave, we're going to head down to Anaheim, obviously, and then basically head back home.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's talk StarCraft, RuFF. I want to get to There are a lot of people going to be in Anaheim and a lot of stuff going on, but I think a lot of people really want to know, because I know that when you disappeared off the radar for a little while, everyone was worried. I know that I tend to be too jaded now. I say, we'll see, no matter whether you were good or bad, I don't care until after Anaheim. So we'll see what happens at Anaheim. But tell everybody what your preparation is leading up to this and anything you're worried about, anything you're looking forward to. Tell me about your headspace regarding Anaheim.
Okay. As far as gameplay goes, I feel confident in the way I play right now, especially with getting on the computer like a couple days before Anaheim starts, which is what I just did. I just packed my computer. So I won't be able to play StarCraft until I actually start competing on Friday. But so far I feel really good. The only thing I'm worried about is that new patch that came out with Zerg, because their queens have 5 range now, which completely kind of nullifies a lot of my builds, which is really unfortunate when playing Zerg. So I have to use a lot of standard play now, which is very strange. Usually I like that early aggressive play, with Marines against...
On a rough standard? Wait a minute. That's not acceptable, RuFF. No. We must see Speed Reapers now.
I almost feel like we need to send a message to this. No offense, but that patch really messes up RuFF's gameplay, and that was not
this is all a mental game on RuFF's part. He's just letting this out now on the show. Like, oh yeah, I do some standard play.
Everybody's watching, and it's like, RuFF's going to play standard. We have to macro.
Everyone's going to watch this podcast. As soon as I go to Anaheim, I'm going to be doing what I normally do.
then like, Nest-T's going to triple expand against RuFF, and then all of a sudden he's going to see Speed Reapers.
I like this. In the chat right now, Suntran just said, RuFF standard, proxy Thor rush. There you go. That's standard play. I like it. Very cool. But
all right, so let's talk a little bit about RuFF. Who are some players you think that are going to do really well, and what do you think are going to be any breakouts? Is there anybody who's impressed you over the last month or so that say, wow, watch out for this player? Or what do you think?
Someone who has impressed me. To be completely honest, I couldn't say, because I was without a computer for a little while. And I just got back playing. So far, I haven't really been impressed by anybody. I haven't really played against enough of the players to actually say that. Like, for example, I played probably every player that I know maybe once or twice since then. Other than that, I can't really say because, I can't really say.
Okay, fair enough. For those who may be wondering, you did win, so you're going to have your own hotel room and flight. Talk about, this is, instead of just being sponsored by us, you were able to win some extra benefits here. So talk a little bit about your journey to Anaheim, what you did, and what you were rewarded with.
Okay, this is going to sound really strange. I really, before I left, it was actually when they first came out with the first qualifier for the World Championship Series. So I really didn't have very many options to compete in, the 32 or 64 qualifiers that they had. So the very first qualifier, the only qualifier that I played in, I actually managed to win. And I did play Daisuke in the finals of that qualifier and ended up winning 3-2, surprisingly. It was a bit tough because throughout the entire bracket, it was pretty easy up until the finals when I played Daisuke. When I played Daisuke, I went down, I was down 0-2, but then I managed to come back and go 3-2, which was actually a big surprise on my part, because usually when you get to that point where you're down 2 games, you kind of get demoralized. But I kind of took that to my advantage and got really serious about it and, just did what I did, what I knew would work. And I did manage to beat him. And I heard that Daisuke made it into another qualifier, so I'm excited for that. So a lot of vVv and WCS going to be down there in Anaheim for sure.
Have you had a chance to talk to Glon much about the recent patch?
I didn't really get to talk to him much, but I know Glon is actually against it from what I heard. Like every time I see him in chat or something, he's always saying that Zerg is too strong. Zerg Queen patch is just a little too much. I even agreed with that. I was thinking, maybe they shouldn't have gone that route with the Queens. I think going from 3 to 5 was a bit too much. I think they should have checked what 3 to 4 would have done for the range instead, because, all the Zerg players just do the same thing now, which is just make Queens. They don't even really make Zerglings anymore, just to defend everything in the beginning. And economically, the Zerg is just at such a high an advantage that Queens can attack air. They can stop harassment. They can block Hellions. They can stop Reapers. They're fast on creep, so they're good for just defending, and you can put them all over the place and creep the entire map within seconds. So I think Blizzard made a huge mistake by doing that. I think that it's going to kind of break the game. And to be honest, I'm actually going to see I'm not going to say in the WCS because I know that's the national qualifiers that we're going to be playing in, so a lot of U.S. players are going to play. So I can really expect in the national qualifiers probably a ZVZ finals, Don't worry, I won't let that happen, though. But I'm just saying.
Well, nice. I want to talk. You mentioned the WCS, and to me, I am more excited for the WCS. I am 10 times more excited for the WCS than I am for the actual Anaheim bracket. And people, Adabasi's going to flip out on me on the chat for that. But it's just the truth, man. It's all U.S. players, very, very, some unknown players, some top players in there. It really mixes them in. Everyone fucking qualified for this. So there wasn't just a bunch of random signing up, and no one got invites, or a few people got invites, but they got invites through the ladder. So, it wasn't just completely random. I love it. So I'm really, really excited for it. What are some predictions you have for that? I have some of the list here, and I'll be more than happy to share it with you if you don't have it pulled up. I'll post in the chat there out there.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's some really, really amazing players. Check 6, we've got 4 players that qualified: Suppy, Perfect, Vare, and Mystic. I think vVv, you guys had at least 3, right, or at least 2. I know you qualified. Daisuke, I think, qualified, and maybe Glon, right?
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, I know there's at least 3 for you guys. Of course, you have In Control who qualified. I think Idra qualified. KoFXIII, Axlav. Tyler actually is not even playing at all in the Anaheim bracket itself for MLG. He's just playing in WCS and qualifying on the matchups for that. So that's at least interesting. Destiny, really, really some amazing and some unknown players like Bensky from Light. Fitzy here, who is now on Root. Well, anyway, just give me a little bit of what you think we might see for this bracket.
I'm trying to think here. So far, from what I'm looking at, me personally, I'm pretty confident with this bracket. Some of the players that I would probably be scared of are actually, the well-known ones like Adra or In Control. Other than that, I don't see very many that would be scary. Oh, Kawhi Rice, I think, would be a good one. That way I can actually see getting toward the finals or semifinals in this. But that's just my opinion on that. So far, not so many. Usually what's really scary, usually the Korean players. And since this is actually just the national championship series, you just only have U.S. players. So in this category, I feel a lot more confident than I would in the actual MLG.
Interesting. Speaking of actual MLG, looking at the seeding, I'm not sure if I'm correct in this, but this has to be one of your highest seedings ever going into an event. You actually are seeded 18th in the open bracket. Glon seeded 19th right behind you. So both towards the top of the open bracket. With the people that are above you and then the wealth of talent below you as well. I mean, we've got people like Thorzane, Huck, Check 6's Sleep, Idra Select, and more. How do you feel that you're going to fare coming in with this higher seed?
I'm not exactly sure because sometimes you can have a really good player seated on the lower end of the bracket. And if you actually run into them, it can get complicated sometimes. But other than that, I've always felt really confident once I actually have that high seeding. So going into MLG, I'm actually feeling pretty good about it.
That's good. That's really good to hear. Jerry, before we wrap up with RuFF, because I know that RuFF, you said that you have to head out soon tonight. You guys are traveling tomorrow. I want to keep it short with you just because of that. Jerry, did you have anything you wanted to finish up with RuFF before he goes?
I'll see him in Anaheim. I look forward to watching him play. I mean, your girlfriend, all of it, it's going to be good to be around you again. So just safe travels, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, RuFF, it's a pleasure. I really appreciate you stopping by on a busy night right before you travel. It's really nice of you, and good luck in Anaheim. I'll see you in California this Thursday. All
right. Sounds good.
Say hi to the woman from us.
All right.
Before you head out, any shout-outs?
Shout-outs to, obviously, Still Series, Control Freak, Gamer Grub. I love the Still Series gear. I can every time I bring it up, I always have to talk about it. It's just so great to use the gear. I always do so well at LAN events using it. So definitely to them. And a shout-out to my girlfriend, obviously.
Was that Angel that I just saw behind you? Was that the hand that just kind of came up in the air?
Yeah, that was it.
Hi, Angel.
Hi.
There she is. It's going to be good to see you.
And there she goes. But RuFF, have a great night, sir. See you in Anaheim this weekend, my friend.
All right. See you later.
Take care. All right. 2 down, 2 guests down, 4 games down. 1 more guest to go, 1 more game to go. We are closing in on the end of the show, but before we do, we have got to bring in one last person, and that is going to be vVv Fourth Oracle. and I'm going to pull him into the call right now so that we can talk some League of Legends, the new addition to the circuit. And there are a ton of teams. vVvGaming's team is official that they are going to be there, which is really incredible. I'm looking for it. I feel like they're a real big dark horse in the event. But we'll get Fourth Oracle's opinion as he is coming onto the show right now. Mr. Fred, sir, welcome to the Losers Bracket once again after oh God, let me get you on,
Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and close this window.
I thought that was actually on purpose. To have
Don't
that
step
glare.
into the light! Don't step into the light, Fred.
See,
He's going.
I thought that was on purpose, that he had the light.
That's all we're
shining
getting.
down
It's
on the
like some
wolf.
kind of odd poltergeist moment where he's going to be gone.
Guys, I'll be back. We'll never see him again. That's it. It's over. What's really funny is Fourth is actually right down the street from our last guest, vVvRuFF, because Angel, his girlfriend,
All right.
lives right down the street from Fourth. So,
Yeah, when I
kinda
think that fact, that was really creepy.
yeah. But I thought that was like some sort of thing, like you were just trying to be all epic with the light hanging down on the wolf, but I thought too much into that. Fourth, how are you doing this week, my friend?
Not too bad. Dead week in college. But I'm
That week in
alright.
college. Very cool, very cool. Big weekend this week, though. So we've got MLG Anaheim right around the corner now. We got the entire list of teams for League of Legends that just came out today. So
Yep.
that is actually on the Major League Gaming site right now. And
Yep.
the full lineups for each team, etc., etc., their seedings. Going into this event, we've got Solo Mid seeded first. We've got CLG North America, or NA, I should say, CLG NA, in second seed. We've got Dignitas in third, SK Gaming in fourth, Fnatic fifth, Curse sixth, Dynamic seventh, MTWNA eighth. Who are the people to watch out for, or are one of the unseeded teams going to sneak out and take this entire tournament? What's going on in this game, Fourth?
Okay. I'm just going to get this out of the way. Number one contender.
And for unbiased, real quick, don't mention VVV.
Okay. I'll mention them.
Because then people will be like, "Oh my God, VVV, that fucking guy."
No, I'll just get my opinion out of the way for them real quick. I think they're really good. I think they're really talented. They've beaten some really good teams in scrims. We'll see how they do in the LAN event. I think that they're really good. I think they have potential to go far, but we'll see. I could be completely wrong. But anyways, my biggest prediction, Solo Mid is probably going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost entirely certain about that.
So they're going to repeat the success of IPL4 then?
I really think they are. It's not just because they're good. They are really good. I think that's just it. Is they're really good, they're really solid. There isn't any weak point in their team. But when you put them side by side to all the other teams that are coming up, they're the only ones that are really cohesive right now. I say this because the other ones that are they're really big have gone under some lineup changes. I would say Fnatic would be a really big contender. They won Season 1 tournament for anyone that still remembers them. But they recently just kicked their star player, Shushay. There's a little bit of drama there. He basically just couldn't improve, and so they kicked him out. They were going to be one of the big people to fight Solo Mid. CLG North America, CLG Prime, they're one of the three that underwent the big lineup changes. CLG, NA, Dignitas, and Curse all did that whole member swap musical chairs thing. And I think that they all were weaker because of it. They've had a little bit of time to practice with each other, but in the end, you're still going under a team swap about a month before 3 major LAN events coming up. They'll only be competing in 2, but most of these are, because you have DreamHack, and then you have the GESL tournament, and there's going to be the Europe and America.
I have a quick question to ask you about TSM, since we have brought them up. There was something really interesting that actually became one of the top-rated posts on Reddit /r/League of Legends earlier today, which was that TSM actually had to forfeit in a tournament in Toulon earlier today, and it came from a tweet from X Special, who said that he was rather annoyed because 2 members of the team decided to go out to eat instead of playing in the tournament. Could that potentially be something to, is there maybe dissension in the team at all? Or is this something that maybe we just are looking too far into? Reddit's like, blowing this up for no reason kind of thing? Because, you had just picked them as a team to watch out for to win. Is this something that we should look out for? Is there a problem there?
Yeah, I'm looking at the lineup, and it looks like, I don't know, I'm not familiar with Emphatic. So yeah, that may be something big. That's really awkward.
Yeah,
in the world.
X Special actually just posted on his Facebook about an hour ago, woo, 10K likes, too bad it couldn't have been under better circumstances. So, I'm not sure. I mean, they are the number 1 seed going into Anaheim, but I guess we'll see what happens with the team. So
I think that's TSM being TSM. Is really all that is. It's like, oh, I'm paid to do this, but I have so much better things to do. And I think once again, like we talked about this last week, it comes down to the fact that, playing tournaments doesn't pay their bills. I think, Jerry, that's something we haven't really talked about enough, is the fact that this League of Legends community is a completely different community than StarCraft, or a completely different community than all of the others. Like, they have this sort of big thing where a bunch of their teams like TSM and CLG, they're all making money off of streaming. They don't need necessarily a traditional organization. It's something to worry about, and I think it's really hurt their team. It's hurt their team a lot of times. Like CLG with their whole cheating thing. With MLG, it wasn't necessarily cheating. It was putting in another player or whatever. For MLG that they got disqualified for. And now TSM doing this, and TSM's done similar things in the past. So I don't get it, man. I just don't get the whole thing.
I think you're doing it again. I think we always forget that whenever a new community comes to League of Legends, when a new community like League of Legends comes into esports, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know that this gets expensive. They don't know this gets pricey. There's internal politics. There's all kind of stuff that happens that I think, they're going to get an education, and I'll tell you what, keeping 5 players together and happy and working and improving, that is no small feat in esports. It is the pinnacle. It is the most difficult thing to do. There are only 2 games that I can think of, Counter-Strike and League of Legends, that you've really had to juggle that many people. Realistically, at the top, where all the big tournaments are, and right now, in certain ways, League of Legends is the Counter-Strike of this esports era. As when you look at the sort of like management required to hold those teams together. This is why I think this is not over. Right? There's going to be a very steep learning curve for a lot of these organizations or these teams.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's just a lot of these. I guess you can call them organizations. CLG. They're making great money. They're picking up good sponsors, and same for TSM. But they didn't start that way, and they're not necessarily traditional. I guess is the word. And I'm hoping that, don't get me wrong, I'm hoping that they eventually learn that over time, like you said, but right now they're having real problems with the fact that, like you said, number one, that, playing tournaments isn't paying their bills. It's the streaming, and, some of their best streamers aren't always the best players in tournaments, and it's just a different community. It's very, very confusing. So, you see things like TSM, ditching a tournament. We don't need to play a tournament. We need to eat, and then we'll stream for a few hours and we'll be good. Same for CLG.
2 people in chat right now just bring up a really good point, and I want to point this out real quick, because Bill Cosby and Adabisi are talking in the chat right now, and Bill Cosby says they don't need small tourneys that pay $100 for first place when they can focus on a tournament that gives $10,000 as the prize, because splitting between 5 people ends up to $20 at a game like League of Legends. Let me ask a question.
Do they enter the tournament?
I would imagine so, right? I'm not sure.
Then wait a minute. Why they enter the tournament, right? See, this is the thing that people don't get, and this is what, again, the League of Legends community, you don't know what you don't know. It's not that I care that they join the tournament, right? I could care less, but once you decide to play in a tournament, play in the tournament, right? It's not that there are plenty of tournaments that are probably beneath them, and they should not enter them. But once you enter a tournament, it says something, right? And if Bill Cosby's right, someone else enters them, it's not them. Okay. I mean, I never knew that. Can't imagine how that worked, that someone else enters a team into a tournament. But hey, if that's what it was, then yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that. It sounds weird. Bill Cosby, you know more than me, I guess. But why would it be a big thing on Reddit if TSM forfeited, if someone else entered them and like they never agreed to play? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's your facts there, Bill
That doesn't
Cosby.
sound right, buddy. But yeah. Either way, the main point you're making, so this is not just about this. This is a bigger topic in the sense of this has happened a lot, and it's happened with bigger tournaments. I mean, CLG with the whole thing of substituting a player at MLG. That's something that a traditional organization would not, hopefully, let them do. And that's something that if once again, if they had the knowledge, they wouldn't fucking do. It's just, I think it's a topic we're going to see come up a lot more. But anyway, I do have another quick question about the seedings and things like that. My question is SK Gaming. And the reason I bring up this question is because I'm not sure how their roster has changed. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't keep up with League of Legends enough to know how, because rosters do change quite a bit in that game. But SK, I'm telling you guys, like they were, people were talking about how awful they were before IEM, and then they came in and destroyed, and they're like, maybe we should rethink that. So what's with their roster? Do you know if they've changed any, Fred? And if they have, do they have a chance for MLG? What?
I think all the teams have changed up a little bit. I haven't been following SK Gaming specifically, but there are a couple of names that I don't recognize there. But if these changes happen, they changed a while ago before I really started digging in. So they're probably pretty used to each other. Right now, I don't know as much about them as much as I know about like solo mids, the CLG teams, the TSM teams, like Curse, Fnatic, all them, even Fornot. SK is someone that honestly, as far as I can tell, they've been pretty quiet recently. I haven't seen them in a lot of really big tournaments. I haven't seen them personally in a while, so they're sort of an unknown to me. I think they're sort of an unknown to a lot of people just because they've been so quiet.
Yeah, they're definitely.
We haven't seen them place really well in any big tournaments recently, I don't think. Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, and also, where the hell is EG? And about EG, once again, I mean, Epic Gamers.
That's actually, I could answer that question. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
you
a
can
different
go
name.
ahead.
That's actually.
Yeah, but I don't want Jason to answer the question because he's not the League of Legends expert. I want to hear from Fred. Fred, cough it up.
Okay. Epic Gamer got picked up by TSM.
I know they got picked up by TSM, but what did they change their name to?
TSM Evo. They're down there.
Yep, they're unseeded now because of that. They're unseeded because of team change.
Oh, okay, I see it.
I got really excited when that happened because, like, I'm a complete Nat Win fan. I love him. He's such a sweet guy. And when I saw that they got picked up by TSM because they'd gotten so good, I'm just like, yes. I don't think they're necessarily going to place huge. That's a lie. I lied. They've been performing really well. I think they'll do really well. Sorry, I'm sort of going... I'm running all the teams through my head. There's so many. They're all cluttered. Recently, it was TSM versus TSM in what tournament? What tournament was it? It was a recent one. Let me look it up. Let's see. But anyway, they fought each other in the finals, and I think that they could also place really well. I think there's a lot of potential from both teams.
I think they're a very, very good team, and their roster's changed up a little bit. I know they actually had a fighting game player on their roster for a little while. They had Claky D on their roster for a little while, which I'm not sure if you remember or not, Jason, if you remember or not. But Claky D is actually a somewhat famous fighting game community player, but now I think they've replaced him with someone else, and their roster has been looking very, very stable lately. It's hard for me to support them because they're on TSM, because I do not like TSM.
Aww.
Oh, Curt.
And I'm sorry, I'll be the first to admit it, man. I just don't like that whole bitter attitude, But anyway,
According to Cosby in the stream, he said that it was the curse tourney, TSM versus TSM.
Okay, thanks, Bill.
But with that being said, I want to actually ask you one more question about the unseeded teams. We've got teams on this list such as Green Forest, LGN, MRN, Orbit, Wolfpack. Teams that people might not know the name as much as some of the bigger teams. If you had to watch out for one team that was unseeded, and let's take vVv out of the equation,
Why do we always take VV out of the equation?
Because I want to...
Legitimately, hold on, wait, legitimately.
I can be candid.
Why can't we be objective, right? I mean,
Okay.
I think VV Gaming's team, they've done some pretty amazing things, and when I look at them, and I tweeted this the other day, I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. Because the deck, as always, is completely stacked against them. They're young. But a lot of people make a few mistakes about this team, and I want to point this out because I think it's important. They have been at the Vancouver event twice. It's not like they've never been to a LAN event before, right? And they've done well, like first place well. That's pretty good. And they, to me, have a sort of aggressive fever about them. They just recently were playing Green Forest and they beat them, I thought rather solidly. So as much as I think we're going to be, I know that it's probably, people are going to be biased, but I don't know. I'm rarely confident about our teams and players because it's not my job. That's what my manager's job is. My job is to remind my managers how many, they can afford to be optimistic. I can't. But I just would like to get Fourth Oracle, who, let's face facts, is really new to VV Gaming, and I think he's going to be honest. I just want to hear your thoughts there, Fourth Oracle. Honestly, just your position, what do you think?
VV is freaking amazing. Honestly, they have a skill level that's beyond their years. I honestly remember thinking, oh, these guys are really young, whatever. They're probably just going to be obnoxious. And then they just start beating Legion, and they beat Green Forest, and they're playing against these established teams and beating them into the ground. It's not like they're lucky. Because you can't really get lucky in League of Legends. It's like they really beat them, and they do it convincingly. That's the big thing. Is if they just it's a one-off. They beat them in a one-off, but they've been performing well consistently, and that's one of the big things. That sort of brings me around to talk about CLG EU. There's a reason that I'm not really favoring them for this tournament. I know I'm sort of getting off track, but not really, because they're one of the unseeded teams. CLG EU, their biggest flaw is that they're inconsistent. And when I can say that vVv Gaming is more consistent, the well-established, regularly invited to big tournaments team, that's saying a lot. And that's I'm attempting to be objective here, but just looking at the way they've been playing, though, and who they've been playing and beating, it's hard to deny that they're a pretty darn good team.
Interesting.
I think that they're going to perform
so now,
well.
to be fair, who else would you say in there is a pretty darn good team?
Took my next question.
I think because I think.
Ooh, I have two big ones that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Fornot. I think that Fornot is going to come out of left field and really sweep some people off their feet, because they recently picked up 3 new players. Dan Din stepped down and is actually coaching them. I talked about it in one of the earlier Summoner Heralds. But they've been playing together a lot, and I have a lot of confidence in them. Zekent, he's that player that only plays Poppy in ranked play. He's more than just a Poppy player, though. He's really intelligent about what he does, and that's why he can play Poppy. And the rest of them are just skilled. We'll see, because they're one of the few teams that has a specific coach that's teaching them, Dan Din, and he's really good. I think that they're going to come out of the left field. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and I think they're going to beat a lot of well-known teams. I predict that if they fight CLG EU, they're going to beat them. I'm betting that they're going to beat Curse. They may even beat CLG North America. Maybe. But that's because Hotshot GG is so new to the... wait a minute. What the heck? I just noticed something. Hotshot's playing for CLG. What? Hold on a second.
It could have been mixed up. It's possible that the rosters were still the same or something.
Yeah, maybe. We're gonna have to watch that because the big member swap happened. I feel weird now. That's different.
Bill Cosby
we'll see if he actually plays for CLG.
Who follows League of Legends quite closely is saying Hotshot does play for CLG.
What happened to the team swap? That's weird. He was playing for Dignitas last I checked.
He moved to jungle.
Yeah, I know he moved to jungle, but oh wait, that's right. He moved to jungle from CLG. Oh man, I've been out of it for so long. It's the end of the year's break coming up. That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't the Hotshot that they lost.
He didn't change his team. It was Psycho Sid, I think, and Crumbs. I think that Crumbs is really good, by the way. I think that he's really going.
There's been a lot of change-ups the past few weeks.
It's driving me crazy. For anyone that didn't notice, AAA's in shambles. I thought that they might be in the tournament something like this a couple months ago, but now they lost 3 of their players.
But I want to start something here. I want to steal it. I want to steal it from Live on 3, and damn it, I'm going to steal it, whether they like it or not. I really want to start predictions. All right, for the official predictions for the loser bracket for League of Legends.
Don't do this to me.
So I want predictions. We'll start with League of Legends because I don't want to do StarCraft because that would be a fucking headache and I don't think we have time for it. So let's just do League of Legends. We're not going to go full on Live on 3 and go points on it, but I really want some predictions for everyone for who's going to win this tournament. That's it. I just want the winner. So
you just want the winner?
Yeah, let's start with Jerry, then we'll go to Fred, because Fred, you're going to be the guy that knows the most about it here. So Jerry, you're first, because you don't get to hear what Fred has to say, damn it.
I'm going to go with vVvGaming.
There you go, Jerry. I love Jerry, man. Jerry's
I am pretty sure, right, that when they win, right, and then everybody's going to come back to this show, and I'm just going to go, there it is again. Put another one on a long list of accomplishments and tell me how horrible we are. And then we'll give them away to EG so they have a League of Legends team. So, that's my prediction, vVvGaming.
All right, Jerry. Jason, over to you.
Jason's picks. What is Jason going to pick? Jason's talking in third person.
Don't bitch out. Don't bitch out and pick 2 either. Pick 1.
Who are your bands? Pick 3 bands.
No.
Your band.
Singed, that Flash OP. No, that was never mind. Never mind.
Oh yeah, that flashing over. That was awesome.
Way out of date joke.
That joke's never going to be out of date. That was the best freaking hack ever.
Best pug ever. Honestly, no matter what anybody says, and Curt, you hate them, I still think Solo Mid's the team to beat. I really do. I could even see TSM Evo doing very well in this tournament, coming up in the top 4.
All right, just stop it. Just stop it.
Hold on. I will say I think vVv is going to be the dark horse, even though I'm not saying this because I'm a part of vVvGaming, but just from watching their players, I do feel like they could potentially take a top 4 spot and surprise a lot of people.
Okay. My predictions, I think Fortnite is great. I think you'll see them do very well, but I don't think they'll win. I go SK Gaming to win.
Huh.
I do. Fred, how about you, buddy?
I was gonna say Solo Mid, but then it was pointed out that they got Emphatic. See, this is going to be a really tough call. It's all of the teams.
Don't worry, we're not going to kill you if you get it wrong. Just guess.
I know. It's just sort of making me think. All of these teams have some sort of something working against them. CLG EU is inconsistent. Curse was part of the big swap. CLG was part of the big swap. Dignitas as well. SK hasn't been heard of in a while. Fnatic lost Shushay, which is just massive. Legion's getting beat by vVv. I think that vVv is really consistent. I think they're really strong, but they're a complete unknown, and I'm not sure I want to give it to them because they don't have a lot of LAN experience.
All right, Fred.
I'm not okay. I'm just gonna say this. TSM Evo.
Okay.
They're my favorite because they are the only team without some sort of cancerous sore on them.
So we know. I said vVv. Curt, you said SK Gaming. Jason, who did you say?
TSM.
Jason said TSM.
TSM, and you went with who, Fred?
Evo.
TSM Evo.
TSM Evo. So, all right, so we'll see.
All 4 different predictions. That's fantastic. I know we have to wrap up, but oh, go ahead.
I'd like to say I'm really, really happy to say that I am most confident in my favorite team. I've been following them for a long time, and they've always come in like 4th and 5th and 3rd.
Who is that? TSM Evo?
TSM Evo.
Formerly known as?
Epic Gamer.
There you go. So I do think, to be fair...
You can't even say they were formerly known as Epic Gamer, because like that fucking roster is just... That roster has just fell apart so many times.
Well, I do think to give TSM credit, they know talent, and picking up a second team like that gives that brand, I think, a little bit of strength in this LOL space, and as well they should. I mean, they have been in this since the beginning. They have a good website, I think. They're the sort of the Team Liquid, I think, in many ways of League of Legends. I don't think anyone's going to deny that fact.
I still think we can argue. I still think it goes back to stream numbers for a lot of these guys. But
no, I'll agree with you. I mean to that degree. But I'm saying that I think that as far as there's a lot to be learned. It was a solid. They're on that path. Again, I do think League of Legends is very immature esport, to make that clear. But so these comparisons I'm drawing are very loose ones. Team Liquid's been around for a very long time. They've learned a lot of lessons. They've done a lot of things. And I think though that. That's not a horrible...
Bill Cosby correcting people in chat cracks me up. Bill Cosby, you got to stop. Because, look, I know Nat was originally on EG, but he was only on EG for a few fucking months here. The original EG roster was just completely different. Just like completely different. What people traditionally know as EG. So.
Yep, that's right. Bill Cosby's right. I'm looking at chat now. Curse was picked up by Absolute Legends.
But I know we have to wrap up. Before we wrap up, I do want to cover something really, really quickly, and that's simply talk about the GSL tournament. All right, and to me, like, this is something that we haven't mentioned. A lot of people don't mention, but it's a really amazing tournament. It's coming on after Anaheim, the weekend after, and they have some amazing LOL teams going there as well. You got Curse Gaming, Solo Mid, CLG, Green Force, CLG Black, MTW, Team Dynamic, and DirtNap Gaming. So. Really, really amazing teams there. People need to check that out because that's going to be awesome as well. So,
awesome. Well, I think that this is actually just about going to wrap it up for us because we just did pass the 11 p.m. Eastern Time, which is when we normally wrap things up. We're running a little bit long tonight, of course, with our MLG preview, talking E3 as well. But fourth, I really do want to thank you for coming on tonight, giving your predictions, giving your input on the League of Legends scene. And we'll see whose predictions come true, if any. There's other teams out there this weekend in Anaheim, California. Before you head out, though, Fourth, I'd like, if you have any, for you to give your shout-outs.
Yes, I would like to give a shout-out to the vVv in-houses that happen every Sunday. They happen at 4 o'clock Pacific and 7 o'clock Eastern. They're a lot of fun, just a bunch of people getting together and play. I'm shoutcasting them now, and basically just taking people from the community to play. You don't have to be a member of vVv to play, to just come and have fun. Make sure to join the vVv chat channel in League of Legends if you want to play by 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in League of Legends every Sunday. Just a lot of fun, and you may get the chance to shoutcast with me because I just take people. If you ever wanted to give it a try, that was a great chance. Just a lot of fun, a lot of goofy stuff, and we play stuff outside of just regular League of Legends too. We do like ARAB, and next week we may be doing a new just for fun mode called, I think it's called Kings of Dominion is the name that the community calls it. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun casting it, and you all should join because it's a lot of fun.
That's
and
awesome.
It's fun. Have I mentioned it's fun?
You know what? It would be fun. You know what would be really fun is if you could just drive down the street real quick and hop in vVvRuFF's suitcase that you can join us out in Anaheim. I'm really sad that you're not going to be making it this weekend, but we'll have to get you out to a LAN event soon so that you can come hang out with the rest of the vVv family.
That would be a lot of fun. I'm really wishing that I could go to Anaheim.
We'll get you out there soon, buddy. But yet again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we'll get you back on the show soon. And
Wait, when are your finals over?
Uh-oh.
My finals are over next week.
So you couldn't leave even if you wanted to because of school?
Pretty much. I have to study and write papers.
And there's no way you could possibly blow that off, could you?
Not really.
See, look at that. Me
education.
tempting him away from education for esports. I'm a horrible human being. Horrible I am.
Nice try.
All right, just checking.
Once I have a stable job.
The best sponsor.
Yep.
J.O.B. Second time this episode that we've thrown that in there. That's it.
Yep.
Fourth, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we will talk to you very soon, my friend.
Yep. See y'all later.
Take care. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Well, that just about wraps up the MLG preview. We got into E3. I'm happy we got to do that. And now it's just a wait and see to see how MLG transitions from this E3 event that they are currently running with the extra show matches. They did the Halo 4 first official multiplayer gameplay earlier today, and doing some Mortal Kombat, some Call of Duty Black Ops, and how they transition to this weekend for their biggest event to date. I look forward to covering that on the show next week. In fact, while we were actually doing the show, I have just confirmed one guest that will be on the show next week to talk results for StarCraft. We will be joined by Evil Genius's player in Control next week here on the Losers Bracket, and I definitely look forward to that.
It's impossible to fucking hate that guy, is it not?
No. He's incredible.
It's impossible to hate him. I wish I could hate him.
Why? Because he's popular?
I do. I wish I could hate him. I do. But because the announcement thing. But I just can't. And I really enjoy him. I enjoy him a lot. So. And he's going to hate that I even said that because he talks shit about people that say that. I wish I could hate him, but I don't. But I do, man. I really, really enjoy him as a guy. So I look forward to that.
I look forward to having Jeff on the show next week. It's been a long time coming, and I loved the fact I asked him on Twitter from the Losers Bracket Twitter, and he said, hold on, let me make sure I can do that with my management. And he said, oh, well, that was quick. Immediately tweeted back, yep, I'll be on. So shout out to Sir Scoots and them for...
God, if we could only get Team Liquid's management to be that nice. I wonder why EG's so nice and Team Liquid isn't. I don't think Hotbid likes me very much.
Maybe we can meet him in Anaheim and coerce him with some drinks or something. I don't know, Jerry. We'll try to make that happen. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But shout out to EG for making that easy. Thank you, Scott and Alex.
Yeah, most definitely.
And Cody.
And Cody. Yep, and Cody.
While we're on the subject of shout-outs, Curt, since you were just talking there, want to give your shout-outs for the week, my friend?
I actually have a few, so you guys are going to hate this, but I do have a few, and my shout-outs are the only time in which you guys won't interrupt me, so that's fantastic. I do have a shout-out that I did mention earlier. You thought you were going to get away without me mentioning CSGO, didn't you? Nope. See, it was just announced at E3 that CSGO, the official launch date, will be August 21st. Will be the official launch date for CSGO. The price point, which I find interesting, will be $15 on all platforms. So a brand new game for both Xbox, PS3, and PC will only be $15. I didn't even know they could release a console game for under $50. I didn't know that was possible, but apparently it is. So,
yeah, you may not know this, but most shitty games on the Xbox are actually under $20. You can get any fucking Xbox Live game for like 1,200 Microsoft points. So I don't think. I don't know.
All the Call of Duty games are $60, and they're pretty shitty, Jerry. So
well,
let's be honest here, right?
Sport title, I can tell you that.
Touche.
Fuck you. But but I really think it's a good price point. It's not the free-to-play price point that everyone liked, but you have to have some way to make money, and Counter-Strike just wouldn't work with the way the TF2 works, like buying hats and shit like that. It just wouldn't work. So, good price point, good for all that good stuff, so that's cool. My last shout-out is Maxus Black, a player with Check 6 that's fairly popular. He's really popular in the community. He does the Win, Cheese, Fail series with Life is a Glitch TV. He's running for what's called King of the Web, which sounds very cocky is what it is, but they do one. It's basically, I think, every month, where they vote people King of the Web, and then they'll give you $7,500 for first place, And then I think they got a second and a third place as well. He's running for that at kingofweb.com. He's actually running for that to give all the money directly to charity. He'll be giving the entire whatever he wins to Athene's Sharecraft charity, which is actually Save the Children charity. I think it's SaveTheChildren.com. I think is the charity name. I could be wrong, but if you look up Save the Children, that's the charity. He'll be giving every single bit that he gets to that. Athene's trying to get up to $1 million. I think is what it is. I think $1 million donated, and he's up to like $800,000 that was donated through him so far. So he's trying to get up to $1 million. And if Jeff wins, Max is Black, he'll get $7,500 that'll put towards that, and that'll also be matched as well. So he'll get $15,000. It'll be total to that charity. So, guys, if you would please go vote for him. It's at kingofweb.com. He's currently 4th, and you'll see him at the top there in the with the little flex pose thing there. So check him out.
Cool.
That's it.
All right. With Curt out of the way, Jerry, you're next on the list for shout-outs. Any sort of people out there making a special impression on you this week that you want to shout out? Please.
First, I want to shout out to our Counter-Strike Source team for
Your what team?
getting Counter-Strike Source team for getting.
Say just one more time. I can't hear you.
I'd like to give a big shout out to our Counter-Strike Source team for taking top 4 at the ESEA. They're going to be going to Dallas to play a little bit of Source at the ESEA Nationals, so that'll be good for. It'll be good to finally see vVvGaming's Source team, probably for everyone. It'll give me a reason to love Counter-Strike even more than I already do, which may seem hard for some to believe that I can, but I will find another ounce of love for Counter-Strike to pull that out. So that's one big shout-out. Big shout-out to staff who has had to juggle so much stuff for this MLG Anaheim. Medusa taking care of the reservations at the restaurant. Doomhammer, who Hilton nearly screwed us, and then they didn't screw us, so we were in the Hilton like we always were, and then at the last minute we might have to move to Clarion, and then at the last minute back to Hilton. But we are back at our home at Hilton, because Hilton is the official vVvGaming hotel, for those who don't know. We generally always stay at Hilton hotels. A big shout-out to Rio and CDjr, especially CDjr, who's at E3, signing autographs, doing great things, really, I think, doing a great service to the Mortal Kombat community. And, yeah, I want to also give a shout-out to the crew at Climbing the Ladder who had me on this afternoon. It was a pleasure to be on with everybody. That was good. We talked about eSports business and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm getting ready to fly on Thursday. I'm getting ready to add another MLG event. And I also want to give a shout-out to the VV staff for one more thing, and that is, really getting it all sort of under control, because the esports is changing so quickly, and keeping up with it and planning and retooling and moving forward, I think it's really I think esports is changing more than I think we sometimes realize. So shout out to them for keeping up with that. And a shout out to our guests. They were all fantastic.
I agree 100%. I have a special shout out this week. It's actually a subject we didn't get to cover on the show this week, but I really want to shout out to the website we are actually streaming this on right now, Twitch TV. Twitch TV, Alienware, and SteelSeries did something really incredible that they announced at E3, which is they started an eSports scholarship program. And I think this is one of the things, we've talked about this on the show before, Jerry's mentioned it in his rants. I think this is an absolute amazing, monumental step forward for competitive gaming. $50,000, $5,000, $10,000 scholarships for people that are both doing well in school and also have gaming prowess. So now when mom says, hey, you got to put the controller down and study, you can say, no, I'm earning a scholarship. That is just absolutely incredible. And so I really want to shout out to those three companies, Twitch, Alienware, and SteelSeries, for making this a reality. I think it was a long time coming, and I feel really proud that it now exists. It's just a huge step forward for us. With that being said, in the same breath, I want to thank, other than SteelSeries, Control Freak, Gamer Grub, our other sponsors from vVvGaming, and the band Power Glove for supplying the music that we use each and every week here on the Losers Bracket. If you have any feedback for us, please right at the bottom of our little picture square thingy rectangles that we have our Twitter names. You can easily contact us. Give us your feedback on the show. I will definitely take it to heart. If you want to email me directly, paradise at vvv-gaming... easier for me to say. Paradise at vv-gaming.com. I will respond to you and try to implement your feedback if at all possible. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you, yes you, in Anaheim. So please, if you see me at the event, come up, say hi. I will be there with Jerry as well as the rest of the vVv Gaming crew. Curt is a baddie, so he will not be there. Isn't that right, Curt?
That is correct.
Baddie, pants on. Never mind.
No pants on. This is Curt. There's no pants.
No pants.
No pants at all. But yes, please come up, say hi to us. We'd love to meet you. And hopefully you enjoy this weekend, because this is going to be, I think, one of the most important, if not the most important, esports events to have ever happened here in North America, maybe even the world. And with that being said, have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. If you're not going to MLG, enjoy the stream. Make sure you buy your stream pass because, hey, support this amazing organization that we all love. Until next week, take care of yourself. Have a great one. Bye-bye, everyone.